early 1943, American troops struggled to gain a foothold against savage Japanese opposition in the Pacific. The cost of each island assault was measured in the thousands of dead that lined the beaches. Battling their way into the jungles, the GIs confronted an enemy unlike any they had ever encountered.
A Japanese sniper often found himself in a suicide job. They had steel hooks that they put on their boots to climb, like coconut and palm trees with, and they would climb up in these trees and they would tie themselves into the trees and sometimes wait up there for days on end for some unfortunate victim to walk by someplace below them. And because of that, there was no route of escape.
In one case during the Wunda campaign, the U.S. Marine Corps chaplain was called to the front because a wounded Marine was hollering, "Please, for God's sake, send the Padre, send the Padre." A couple of Marines tried to warn him, but he went forward anyhow. It was a Japanese sniper.
In the early campaigns of the war, these cunning killers had to be taken out at great risk by normal infantrymen. Trained American snipers who could surgically dispatch their Japanese counterparts were in critically short supply.
By the beginning of World War II, what we found out is that we had dropped the ball. We let the whole program fall through the cracks from World War I, and the only way that we had any snipers at all is because we had marksmanship programs in which scoped rifles had been used.
A sniper school was hastily created at Green's Farm near San Diego, California. The weapon of choice was again the Springfield Model 1903 bolt-action rifle. The large new Unertl scope on top made it much more accurate than the World War I Springfield.
This 1903 Springfield was an excellent rifle. It was equipped with a 10-power scope on a slide mount. In other words, you had to slide the scope forward in order to operate the bolt.
On the training ranges at Green's Farm and other sniper schools, candidates quickly learned to make kills at 700 yards or more. However, in light of the urgent shortages at the front, many rifle companies were forced to create their own snipers right on the spot.
We found ourselves in a situation, without formal schools, of having sergeants go out and pick men and hand them sniper rifles and say, "Come with me, boy, you're going to be a shooter." And all of a sudden they found themselves with a bolt-action rifle in a machine gun war.
For a Marine rifleman in the Pacific, the honor of being designated as sniper was an ominous one. For the first time, they were asked to venture out in teams of two to scout enemy positions beyond the front lines. The hazardous new job was termed Scout Sniper. Daniel Cass found his training put to the test as an 18-year-old Marine Scout Sniper facing the Japanese at Okinawa.
The dangerous part would be to be caught out there alone. And somebody sneak up on you and not know that they're there. Well, with no effective firepower at all, you could be in a deep bunch of trouble in a hurry.
Exposed and outgunned, the snipers found that a breakneck retreat was often the only means of survival.
The inherent dangers to the sniper were exhibited when you had the 5th Army snipers suffering 80% casualties on the battlefield. And the 24th Marine Division, out of the original 24 snipers, only had 9 left after the Battle of Iwo Jima.
D-Day, June 6, 1944. The Allies stormed the beaches at Normandy, France. Once inland, the green snipers of the U.S. Army faced a lethal challenge. Within the thick hedgerows lurked hundreds of elite German snipers.
The Germans had a very concerted sniper program. They had a well-established sniper school outside of Berlin run by Major Konings, who was one of their top-rated snipers. They kept all of their training and all of their knowledge from World War I, and they re-employed it in World War II.
The scoped Mauser Model 98 could send an 8mm slug into an enemy half a mile away. However, with the Germans' mastery of camouflage and decoys, the Nazi sniper could creep in silently to deliver sudden death from short range. In the Allied march toward Berlin, the sheer might of the American and British war machine doomed many a German sniper as they blasted away at their hiding places. But it was only on the frozen Eastern Front, in the war with Russia, that the Nazi sniper met his equal, one-on-one. In 1941, in the face of the brutal German mechanized advance, Russia had called on her peasant warriors to save her from extinction. Propaganda reels loudly exalted the triumphs of the lonely Soviet sniper who fought a one-man or one-woman war against the Nazi invaders. Stories of sharpshooters such as Lyudmila Pavlyuchenkov, with more than 300 kills to her credit, thrilled the Allies and enraged German commanders. When the Nazi advance stalled in the epic siege at Stalingrad in 1942, the fighting was house to house, from one brick pile to the next.
Things had so bogged down that anybody on either side, ordinary infantry who exposed themselves, was going to be shot by a sniper. The Germans were concentrating snipers there, the Russians were concentrating snipers. It became a sniper's battle.
New Soviet marksmen learned to shoot their Mosin Nagants on rifle ranges inside bombed-out factories within earshot of the fighting.
They would set up a range and paint targets on the wall. These young men would shoot at these targets, and when they could hit enough of them, they put them out on the streets.
However, not all the Red Army snipers were as untested. Within the rubble, one man's name struck terror into the hearts of German soldiers. No Soviet sniper was more feared than Vasily Zaitsev.
He was employed in the Battle of Stalingrad on the street fighting there, and within 10 days racked up a body count of 40 Germans. Well, the Soviet press got a hold of this, and they touted it far and wide, and of course the Germans read it. And when they did, this incensed them. They in turn sent their premier sniper, Major Konings, from the sniper school outside of Berlin, to Stalingrad for the sole purpose of killing Vasily Zaitsev for their own propaganda machine to show that the Germans were better.
He probably would have gotten away with it, except a German POW was captured, and he boasted to the Russians that they can shoot their mouths off of Zaitsev all they want. He's a dead man. It's only a matter of days. Immediately, of course, this was relayed to Zaitsev, and the word was out to all Russian snipers. Watch, there's a specialized German, the best sniper the Germans have, and he's hunting for Zaitsev. For several days, they didn't know where he was, and then in a single day, they lost 3 Russian snipers in a particular small section of front. So Zaitsev realized that's where he was.
Moving deftly, with a hunter's caution, Zaitsev closed to the block where Konings had claimed the 3 snipers. After countless kills, the 2 deadliest snipers alive were within yards of each other. But only one would come out alive.